Who has become the second Georgia Bulldog in history to run for 1,000 yards in a season. Frankie Sinkwitz, the great old tailback, was the man who did it first, and McLee was the second.
They've been able to complete that long pass. They've been down there in great field position, and there's still 9:45 left in this football game.
But they are in trouble.
Yep.
Mark Wilson, number 8, in wide, left, for Georgia. Got the ball. Penalty flags down. Pittsburgh, I think, covered the football. Let's see about the flags. Looked like Al Romano was on the bottom of the pile.
Exchange fumble. I don't know what the official called, whether it was, looks like he's going to give it to Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh's ball. Right. Georgia, illegal procedure.
You know, whether it looked like maybe the center snapped it a little bit late. Goff started to pull away, and might have been a problem on the exchange. See Romano right here, number 91. You see the ball fly out to his left side and recovered by the Pittsburgh. I can't tell what the number is
Chesley,
there.
55.
Chesley?
And so here's Pittsburgh with a great opportunity just outside the Georgia 22-yard line as Kavanaugh gives it to Dorsett, and Tony is hit after maybe a yard by Ronnie Swopes, number 78 in red.
I'll tell you, trying to harness that Dorsett for 60 minutes is an almost impossible task. I've seen him do it time and time again in a 4-year career, and he's done it again today.
There's almost a carbon copy of O.J. when the juice was tearing him up at Southern Cal. He was like that. You'd hold him for 35, 40 minutes and bang.
They're durable. They just run that ball, keep it.
Kavanaugh pitches to Dorsett. And Mark Mitchell comes across, number 24, from his safety position to knock Tony down and picks him up.
Mark really flew up there. Good support by the secondary. Not very big fella, 5'11", about 172, but he moved up there with good support.
I think he was standing on something when they measured him. I'm not sure he's that tall.
He may not be. He doesn't look that tall.
He sure plays hard. Ball is at the 22. It's third down and about 9.5 yards to go for a first down. Kavanaugh throws for Jones, and he drills it in there.
The same pass. Come out with a unbalanced line with a double flanker to the right, and they just come driving down the field. Kavanaugh fakes the run, the option to the right, and then he delivers the ball. It's well covered here. Mitchell's there, but so's the ball.
Inside the 15, where it is fourth down and about 2 yards. Carson Long is in for the field goal try. Kavanaugh now at 10 out of 17 for 197 yards in passing.
Well, that's a big story in this game, I think.
Larry Swider's hold the kick by Carson Long. 31 yards. Good. And the Pittsburgh margin goes to 24 with 7:35 to play in the game. 27-3, the Panthers lead.
This is a day like no other day.
University of Pittsburgh is going to win this national championship. Everyone will remember the big heroes, Al Romano, Tony Dorsett. One man whose name may be forgotten is perhaps, in a sense, the biggest hero of all. Tom Usick, senior quarterback, probably won't play today. He had never played more than 6 or 7 plays. Before a time early this year when Robert Haygood and Matt Kavanaugh, both of the top 2 Pitt quarterbacks, went down with injuries, and suddenly John Majors was desperate. Tom Usick stepped in and played mistake-free football, steady football for 3 games, got the Panthers through the crisis, and then gave the job back to Kavanaugh and went back to the sidelines where he spent the rest of his career. A walk-on, but a big hero, Tom Usick of Pittsburgh.
Hey, old Tom's been very useful, too, in preparing teams because he's gifted enough that he can keep that Pittsburgh defense interested in the practice sessions. That's a big factor. Long kick to the goal line. Coming up at the 2, it is Washington. Trying to break out of the pack, can't do it. They get him up around the 18, 19-yard line. 17-yard return. 7:29 to play in the game, and you see a lot of people here looking up. Well, they're looking up at the screens that are hanging over the top of the Superdome to see themselves. Some of the coverage up there is apparently taken from our document, but is not. Everybody sitting down on the bench, looking up, watching the ball game on television, and their vision happens to be obscured from the sidelines. Matt Robinson now in at quarterback for Georgia. Goes to the sidelines. The pass is complete to Jeff Hybert. Hybert out of a running back position, a freshman out of Athens. Gets it up across the 30-yard line to about the 32. That should be a first down. I mentioned earlier that Al Romano and Tony Dorsett will be among a large group of outstanding college football players who will be off to Hawaii to play in the Hula Bowl, which you'll see live next Saturday at 4 Eastern, 3 Central Time. Over most of these ABC stations. Ricky Bell's going to be there. Vince Ferragamo from Nebraska, Rick Slager from Notre Dame. It'll be an outstanding group of athletes who will have some fun playing in the Hula Bowl next Saturday. Matt Robinson throws it. Pass almost picked off by number 14. Just almost stolen by the monster man, Jeff Delaney.
That's amazing. Each year that Hula Bowl comes up with the top players in the country.
Mark Wilson, the intended receiver, he's from Frostproof, Florida. I used to drive through there once in a while going down to Seaford. Not related to Big Mike Wilson, evidently. Second down, they need about 6 inches. And then a small prayer to get it going again. Pittsburgh arguing for the interception. I think Romano had put the heat on, and James Wilson was the man who tried to make the interception.
Took a little skip off the turf. Caught it on one bounce. Doesn't count in football.
We're talking about reference to 6 inches. I don't want to mislead you, but you talk in terms of 6 inches. A couple of times in the ball game where just that much would have made so much difference, where Georgia could have completed a pass, where Gene Washington might have caught the ball over here and held on to it. Tony Flanagan, number 11, comes in now with 7:10 to play in the game, and Tony Flanagan at quarterback is smothered by Randy Holloway. Randy Holloway sensing a kill, realizing that a youngster, a sophomore out of Atlanta, was in for one play, and he just pumped up and came and got it. Holloway is a name that will be very prominent next year.
Yeah, I'll tell you, he's a great football player, and I'll tell you, this Pittsburgh team has been very impressive in all phases of the game today.
Monkey Dose, hard rush, but gets it out of there. And it takes a Georgia bounce.
Sure does.
Bounces down to around the 20-yard line. That's 54 yards on the punt. 6:31 to go in the game, and it's Pittsburgh 27-3 over Georgia.
The American Eagle. Goodyear's symbol for its all-American kind of radial tire.
I don't think that's intended to be tapped yet. Here's Pittsburgh now, just inside the 20, in a commanding posture in the ball game as Tony Dorsett, with 190 yards, picks up a couple more. They'll give him about 194, and penalty flags are flying now as we get a scuffle down inside the stack.
It's one of those kind that you look like a retaliation on the part of one player, and you wonder which way it'll go.
Sometimes don't see the first one.
Right. The second guy that gets the penalty assessment.
While they're talking, I think it's quite obvious and quite fair to suggest that Pittsburgh has won the national championship in college football for 1976. Because they have been the most impressive and dominant football team in here against a very good Georgia team. Here's the scuffle.
Let's see here. Well, they called it probably right, a doubleheader. One on each side. I don't think it was anything malicious.
Frustration.
Yeah, right.
Ball is at the 24, second down and 6. Kavanaugh gives it to Dorsett. And he has that little skip when he gets in motion, which makes that linebacker sort of take a look before he commits himself.
You know, Keith, I think the other thing that is significant in this great accomplishment of the Pittsburgh Ball Club, Johnny Majors, is that he's taken his team and progressively gotten better each season, where he's brought them to what appears to be a national championship. And prior to that time, and I can speak from experience on that point, is because we played Pittsburgh when I was at the University of Notre Dame, and they were struggling and having trouble. With the right combination of circumstances, the right players, the right coach, the right motivation, get all the pieces put together, and the end result here is potential national championship, 5 minutes and 57 seconds away from it.
Tony Dorsett gains another yard. He will have the Sugar Bowl rushing record, beating Eddie Prokop's record of 199 yards, which has stood since 1944. Third down and just inches to go for the first down. The quarterback Cavanaugh going for the first down. It would appear that he made it. There's the time, which now is the definite ally of the Pittsburgh Panthers. There's some trivia for you, Era, that only one other Heisman Trophy winner ever won the national championship with his team and played in a bowl successfully. He was a little bitty fellow. Weighed about 152 pounds with a couple of rocks in his pockets.
Now you got me guessing.
I'll tell you in a minute. Cavanaugh gives to Dorsett. Got at least a yard out of that play, so he's over 200. Give him 2 yards, make it 2:01.
That's one of the few times you'll see him fit the wrong way. He should have put. He could broken to the outside. I think he'd have gotten a lot of yardage.
The fellow's name is Davy O'Brien from Texas Christian University when they beat Carnegie Tech 15-7 in the 1939 Sugar Bowl. Davy had 17 out of 27 for 225 yards and kicked a 20-yard field goal. But now Tony Dorsett has put his name in the Sugar Bowl record book with 201 yards, and he improved. Well, he gets another one the hard way. He really got pinched that time. Number 59, Louis Friedman, really popped him.
So, watching Dorsett through all these years and the remarkable yardage that he's piled up, his durability has been something to admire.
Right.
Backs carry that ball a lot of times. You got 11 guys shooting at him, going after him every play, every time they have football. And he's in the line of the OJs and the Ricky Bells, and although he's much smaller than both of them, he's been very durable.
It's third down and 7. Going down the sideline, Steve Taylor. Did he get it? No.
Momentarily.
But almost, I'll tell you. Bobby Thompson playing him just as tough as he could possibly play without fouling. Still had Taylor almost come down with it. And now there's 4 minutes exactly left to play in this 43rd annual Sugar Bowl football game. The word will get around to Michigan and Southern California as they hitch it up for the Rose Bowl game later today. And Pittsburgh has been impressive. Larry Swider, long, big one. They'll let it go, and they'll mark it down around the 13-yard line. That was a beauty. 54 yards by Larry Swider. Johnny Majors, winding up his coaching career in Pittsburgh and heading for the hill country of Tennessee, his home. He becomes the football boss at the University of Tennessee. Tomorrow afternoon, ABC Sports kicks off the new year, returning 3 great sports series. 2 p.m. Eastern Time, Superstars, featuring the veterans. Then at 3:30 Eastern Time, the American sportsman with a shark-feeding frenzy in Australia, and Candice Bergen learning to drive a high-performance race car. At 4:30 Eastern Time, ABC's Wide World of Sports. That's all tomorrow. And here's Flanagan in at quarterback. Flips the pass downfield. In the hands of Leroy Felder, who's already intercepted one pass today, knocked down a lateral and recovered it.
He'd have walked into the end zone out there if he'd have hung on to the ball.
Pass intended for Mark Wilson. Number 37 has had a big day. He's leaving now, and Larry Felton, number 28, replaces him. He's from Cordele, Georgia, playing at Pittsburgh. Second down 10 from the 13. Flanagan going wide. Maybe a yard. As Al Chesley, 55, brings him down. Chesley is a sophomore. He'll be back next year. There's TD. A lobster?
A couple pictures on it anyway.
It's third down and 9. Flanagan, having lost part of his shirt, trying to throw it. Throws it incomplete. Pass intended for Mark Hodge, 88.
Wide open. just had a lot of bad luck today on their passing game. They've either been overthrown, underthrown, or they've dropped the ball.
Bucky Dilts is now in the punt for Georgia, and Bucky's had a decent sort of a day. He's punted 7 times for a 47.5-yard average.
Wow. He's really been putting it up there, too.
Jones is deep. Soft spiral. That's Taylor who's going to back up and take it.
Oh, look at the ball.
Oh, he's got one big block there. Gets it back to the Georgia 49. 45-yard punt and the 11-yard return. Here's Jim.
I'm on the bench with Tony Dorsett, who's had another in the long, long string of sensational games. Tony, congratulations.
Thank you, Jim. I tell you, it couldn't have been a finer time for it to happen to me and my team. You know, we were going for the #1 national championship, and I don't think it could have happened on a better day.
You know, people talked all week about you and your teammates carousing, being on Bourbon Street, having the late curfew. I think there must be a maturity on this team that's somewhat special.
Oh, definitely. You know, we're senior-orientated, and, you know, Coach Majors, he considers his philosophy is that a bowl is a reward for an outstanding season. So you go down, the main priority is to win a ball game, but you're supposed to have fun also.
A lot of you have played together for 4 years. I'm sure it's occurred to you this is the last time you're all together.
Well, you see, we're all hugged up right here, right now. You know, this is the last time we'll play together, and it's been great. You know, I couldn't get a better thrill out of beating a team other than Georgia. You know, because all week the fans were staying in the hotel with us, and they've been aggravating us all week. And tonight, we're gonna rub it in a little bit.
Tony, quite a Cinderella story. 4 years ago, this was one of the worst football programs in the country, and now I don't think there's any doubt that you're #1.
Well, we like to think that way. You know, we put a lot of hard work, a lot of sweat, a lot of sacrifices into this, and we come from number 100 to #1 right now, and we feel right now we are the deserving #1 team in the country.
Did the talk of the Rose Bowl coaches get you up a little more?
Well, you know, not really the Rose Bowl coaches, but Woody Hayes said that we backed out of the Orange Bowl, whatnot, to back into a national championship, what was not true. Georgia's the #4 rated team in the country. We figured playing them, we'd be better.
America rides Monroe, America rides Monroe. First in shots, the name to know. America.
It down as everything is lighthearted happiness on the Pittsburgh side of the field, and there's rather deep gloom for the Georgia Bulldogs as Johnny Majors now is playing everybody. Larry Sims is in the lineup, penalty flag down. Tom Houston. Cooper is in, Joe Stone is in, George Link, John Packard, Jim Suley, Steve Gostap. Everybody gets a chance to play, and why not? They've earned it. Marking off a penalty here against Georgia. Bulldogs frustrated. Came in with a 10-1 record. Very proud football team.
It's still a fine football team. I think Matt Cavanaugh's passing ability really put the pressure on their secondary and really opened the game up.
34-yard line of Georgia with only 1:46 left to play in the game.
Played much better in the second half, Keith. It's only 6-3 ball game in the second half.
That's Sims carrying for Pittsburgh. And on the first down play from 34, he gets a couple of yards. Some of the Georgia people on the field now include, well, the Zambees is still out there, I guess. Brad Sescuti is out there. Bob Hope, Robert Hope is on the field. Billy Woods. Bill Krug stays out. Swopes is still in. Louis Friedman out there. Lawrence Kraft still there. Rodershan coming wide to the right side. Busick on second down and 8. Keeps it, pitches it out. Here comes Sims. James Sims, if he can pop that crack right there, he could have been gone.
Well, we got a new national champion, looks like, Keith, and this is a well-balanced football team. They went through a difficult schedule, opening up the season against Notre Dame there, which is always a tough chore. I can attest to that. And went through a pretty doggone difficult schedule. They're a well-balanced team. I think the thing that surprised Georgia is that this is not just a Tony Dorsett team. This is a football team that has a great kicking game, good passing attack, good solid defense against the rush, and a good pass secondary.
45 seconds to play in the ball game now, and time is called on the field. 46 seconds remaining, and Pittsburgh leading by a score of 27-3 at the national championship in the play. 46 ticks remaining in the ball game as Pittsburgh owns it just inside the Georgia 20. First down.
Well, you know, Vince Dooley is disappointed, but I'll tell you this, 10-2 is a heck of a year, and the Bulldogs played extremely well during the entire 1976 year.
as Tom Musick turns it upfield, goes to about the 15, and we're told that the press people have voted Matt Cavanaugh the most valuable player of the ball game. The executive producer of this 43rd annual Sugar Bowl game, Roone Arledge. Coverage of today's game produced by Chuck Howard, directed by Andy Sedaris, our technical director John Allen, Jerry Klein, research and spotter, Jimmy Ritz, our statistician. It's Musick trying to get in with 13, now 12, and headed for 10 seconds to play. He gets the first down, and that stops the clock with 12 seconds. And look at the Pittsburgh sideline. They're all down there. 8-yard line. Johnny Majors already up on the shoulders of his team. 4, 3, 2, 1. The game is over. And Johnny Majors gets a ride across the field as the Pittsburgh Panthers defeat the Georgia Bulldogs 27-3, a dominating performance. And I, for one, would certainly not quibble with anyone who says they are the National Collegiate Champions because they won them all. And they won this big one convincingly. Lift provided by the Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company, travel arrangements made through, and promotional fee paid by United Airlines. Fly the friendly skies of United where you are the boss. This has been a presentation of ABC Sports, recognized around the world as the leader in sports television. 27, Georgia 3.
Tomorrow, a day for reviewing the past and looking to the future. Harry Reasoner, Barbara Walters, and ABC's key domestic and foreign correspondents discuss 76-77, what was, what...